What's up, guys? How's it going? Got a live this evening. Sorry, just pens everywhere. Live this evening with one of my friends, Sam, who I have known for a long, long time now. Hey, Ross. Welcome back. We did a test earlier, and Ross came and joined, and I'm happy that he's back. Hey, Brigitte, how's it going? So guys, Sam is going to be joining us soon. We're going to talk about cold feet. Now, when I say cold feet, I mean the literal physical sense of cold feet, and I also mean the fear, the fear of being scared. So we're going to talk about both. Yeah, obviously, if you have any questions, hopefully Sam will join us soon. If you have any questions, then obviously, type them up. That's probably the best way. I'll be reading the comments. Hopefully, pretty much. That's here she is. That's what I do. So,
This. Hopefully the internet plays the right game today. Yay, here we are.
Yeah,
Yay! Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I got over my
Excellent.
technical fear of doing an Insta live.
Amazing. Yeah, I was just saying in the intro that we did a practice route earlier
Yeah,
and Ross came on. He's come back, so we must
yeah,
have done something right. Well, slash there's nothing to do at the moment, so people are coming and watching lives, which I'm okay with, to be honest. I'm more than happy with that. So we're going to talk a little bit about cold feet today.
yeah,
Obviously quite a broad subject. So I said in the intro, it will be the physical, actual feeling of having cold feet, and also the fear, which people obviously call having cold feet. So when you're
absolutely.
scared of a situation. So let's start with the feeling of actually having cold feet. Hi, Bright, how's it going? So I'll just randomly say hi to people as they come in,
That's
if they
fine.
type something. So yeah, roll with it. And feel free to as well, by the way, if you see people coming in, just
Yes,
say
TM
hi.
Moa.
Um, but yeah, so actually physically having cold feet, how does that make you feel?
Oh my God, it is so bloody miserable. Oh, am I allowed to swear on this?
Yes,
Probably not.
let's crack on. Oh yeah, no, do it, definitely, absolutely.
Yeah, Helen, we
Helen,
can't.
we can't see your face.
I can see your nose and your mouth.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
that
that's better.
better?
Yeah,
Okay,
a bit
hold on.
more.
Let me scoot up my camera a bit. It's all right. I've got a tripod, so I'm just playing around with the levels here. Is that how's that?
I think you could go. We can't see the top of your forehead and the top
Oh
of your.
really? Oh
Yeah,
wow. Because is that better? If
that's better.
I sit back. Okay, cool. I'll do that. I love Brigitte. Please swear. Yes, I love it.
Oh, that was
Yes,
an easy little square.
exactly.
But you've asked me what it was like to have cold feet, yeah? And it is absolutely miserable because it just makes it for me, it makes me feel like I'm stuck to the ground and I'm unable to move. That it's like a block of ice, and if you
Yeah,
can imagine yourself being in a block of ice and you just cannot get your feet out, there's that kind of feeling of being imprisoned, and it's just
yes,
overwhelming. It overwhelms your body. So whatever you are planning to do, you just can't get on and do it because the sort of the anxiety of the coldness and the uncomfortable feeling just gets in the way.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that,
absolutely,
yeah, that
absolutely.
cold feet takes me back to definitely takes me back to my youth when I was really young, because we didn't have central heating in my house. I think we
Right.
didn't have heating in my house for like donkey's years, probably when I was in my 20s or something, that we finally got central heating. And so we lived with these little kind of electric heaters.
Yeah,
And we didn't have double glazing. There was no double glazing, it was single glaze. And
yeah,
so being cold wasn't a state that I liked to be in.
yeah,
Being warm was really important for me, to get into the warm
yeah,
spot in the front room, and
yeah.
and being warm in
Like
bed with a hot
comforting.
bottle. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. No, I remember talking about cold feet when I was a teenager, and I used to work on a yard with horses,
Yeah.
and all the way through, I literally dropped out of school to do it. So it was, it was quite a serious dream and ambition for me at that point.
Yeah.
Not quite sure, if that was my best, finest moment, but it was the decision I made. But I remember in the winter, and I would put all these socks on, like I would take spare socks, and I never used to be able to work out how my feet are so cold. It'd be like the more socks I put on, the colder they would get. But then eventually I realized maybe I'm actually cutting off the circulation. But I
Yes.
used to walk around just like, like with like robot feet, because I was
Well, I
in
was thinking more
so
like
much
Frankenstein.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pain of the cold feet, and it was like the burning as well. Like they would be burning with the cold, and it was like, this is
Not
the
good.
most horrible feeling. And I
Yeah.
remember just being miserable and just feeling sick. Like feeling sick with the pain of the cold. It was
And
horrible.
it kind of overwhelms your brains. I think it's that whole, it is fear, I suppose. It is our sort of like our emotional response in our limbic brain. It's like, I've got to get myself into safety. If I'm very, very, very hot, and obviously I'm in a fire, or I'm very, very cold, I've got to get myself into a safe space. But actually that feeling is not something that we want. We're primed to keep ourselves safe and secure. And so we want to get ourselves back. So learning to dress ourselves appropriately, either with, less socks or, a good pair of socks, that's what's important.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I remember thinking, like, all the time, like, okay, if I walk around more, then my feet won't get as cold, but then they would sweat. And because it was so cold, the wet from the sweat, and it took me so long to work this out, and the wet from the sweat would then freeze into my feet, and the agony. It was just like nothing I've ever felt in my life, honestly. And I've been through some stuff, and that was what.
I don't know whether they still exist anymore. They probably do. Chilblains. I don't know. Did you have that? Yeah. So there was something, when I was again younger, we all, there was a thing about chilblains, and one, you don't sit on your radiator, or you don't put your feet on radiators because you might get chilblain. I have no idea what they are, but they sounded really uncomfortable.
Like a lump on your, basically, like it's kind of like you get like a lump, kind of like a growth almost, but it's like soft, not soft, but like it's not like cut. It's kind of like a bunion, but it's like kind of, it goes away. So like, like a bunion like basically stays there until you like have it removed. Like chilblains go up and then they go down again when you're like, so say for like the spring and the summer, they would be not there. And then in the winter,
person on here.
I mean, I don't know. I only know how they affect me. I don't know how, like, I haven't had them since then. Like, they haven't resurfaced. I haven't been in that situation. So there was, there'd be no reason for them to. But like with bunions, once you have it, that's it, you have it until you have it removed. But with chilblains, they can come and go. So,
So keeping your feet like warm, I think, is absolutely necessary. I mean, you've been posting about walking this week. Walking has been your theme for your post, which have been really informative and really, really good and engaging reads. And actually keeping your feet warm and being able to breathe, because you said you kind of layered your socks on socks and socks and socks, so your feet actually couldn't breathe, so they ended up sweating, is a really key feature of being able to walk well and walk at a distance and enjoy the exercise and the surroundings and what's going on for your body without having the pain of cold feet, or the opposite, hot and sweaty feet.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because now I would think like, oh, if I have really cold feet, it means I can't run, which means that if I was in danger, I wouldn't be able to escape. And like now I would always look at anywhere I go, I look at the first line of escape. So it's like so much so that if I go to someone's house, I always reverse into their driveway rather than front in, because it's easier to escape, right? So wherever I park, I always reverse in because I know that it's going to be easier to escape if I ever need to escape. Like, always have the key, you know, like the key that I need next. So like either my car key or my house key is always going to be the easiest to find. I always need my
Right.
escape route, you know, like that's kind of how I think. But I don't think I thought like that then. So I didn't even think, oh, what if I am in trouble? What if I need to escape? What if something happens? I just thought, oh, my feet are cold. You know, but I was 15, so
Yeah.
you don't, you know, it changes. The brain changes. But you know, but it is, you know, it
So
really
the whole
does
thing
make you
of,
think. Yeah.
so the
Sorry,
warm
I think there was a delay
good
then.
socks absolutely help. No, good socks really help you walk well. And you know, I saw you posting this week about, you know, you said you were on live and you said, like, get outside now, or, you know, I can't remember exactly the exact words that you said, but you were basically
Stop
saying
what
to
you're
everybody,
doing and get
stop what you're
outside.
doing, get out. Yes.
Yeah.
And I do the same. And I think it's so important that we get outside and we get out and we walk away from our screens, from our laptops, from whatever it is, because we spend because obviously of COVID right now, you know, we are spending so much more time online and on a screen. So getting up and getting out is absolutely key. So finding yourself a decent pair of socks and a good pair of shoes or boots to walk in is also really key.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like the comfort thing, you know, just being comfortable in your own shoes. And it sounds like such a small thing and such a small kind of insignificant thing, but actually if your feet are uncomfortable, everything else is you can't focus on because you're in pain, you know. And I remember times when I was, you know, 18 and going clubbing in heels and stuff, and once your feet go, that's it. I can't do anything anymore, like my feet have gone, I need to go home now, you know. And it was like, I'll last as long as my feet last. So yeah, obviously
I'm quite happy not to be wearing heels anymore. In fact, I'm quite happy that most of my time I'm either in walking boots or slippers or trainers.
Yeah, 100% flip-flops for me. It's like flip-flops or walking shoes. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So why can I ask you a question, Helen? So why was walking your theme for this week? What was that about? Tell me.
So I started doing a theme for the week because I thought it'd be nice to just keep a running theme, and if somebody has a specific question about that theme, I wouldn't just be jumping around. I'd be like, you know, focusing on one thing for the week. So I was kind of, I'm not like, I don't like planning too much because I like doing things that I feel, you know. So I was on a walk and I was like, oh man, this is so nice. And you know, when you just like, this is so peaceful, and it's just so, I mean, obviously I'm really lucky I have the woods. Rikita wearing Crocs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, I'm really lucky because I have the woods, but actually, even if you don't have woods right there, then you can still walk. You can literally walk anywhere you go. You know, even if you can't walk, you know, even when you, like, if you're in a wheelchair, if you're on crutches, I was still walking when I was on crutches. I was hopping, but I was still getting outside. You know, if you're in a wheelchair, just getting outside, just, you know, just experiencing fresh air, it does so much for your soul. And I think it's one of those things that you forget about because it's taken for granted so much. And then obviously I knew we were going to go back into lockdown, and I was like, I need to start talking about walking. I need to start reminding people about how amazing walking is, because we forget in the winter, in the autumn and the winter, it's like, oh, it's so nice and warm inside, and, you know, oh, I've got my hot chocolate here, my coffee, whatever. It's like, you know, you go with the comfort, but then you forget that outside it's also comfortable. Even if it's raining, you come back in and you feel like, oh wow, I just went on a really nice walk, you know, I just had some fresh air. And you know, even when it's raining, it's nice to walk, nobody else is walking, you know, you get everything to yourself because not everyone else is like rushing around.
So would you class yourself then as definitely not a fair weather walker? You're somebody who walks every day.
I walk or cycle.
But you exercise every day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say you walk or cycle. Okay, but you're outside.
Yeah, I do something outside every day.
So I think that probably about, in fact I know I was about 5 years ago, I would have said I was a fair weather walker. So I would have been out in the sunshine, and the warm, maybe on bright sunny days in the winter, but now I walk every day. So it doesn't really matter whether it's raining, pouring with rain, foggy, miserly, sunny, I'll walk every day. And that shift for me happened because of my health. And, you know, I know
Right.
you're really,
Okay.
you know, health and well-being is really important to you.
Yeah.
Because I had, unfortunately, I had torn cartilage in my knee.
Okay.
So it happened about 10 years. Oh, actually, the first time it happened about 10 years ago. And then it happened again about 5 years ago. And because I wasn't doing any exercise, that's why it happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took me such a long time to actually understand that. And it was an amazing physiotherapist who actually sat me down, didn't give me, you know, I went there to get all the kind of exercises. And in the end, he coached me in that one session. He didn't do any kind of like, these are the exercises you've got to do, Sam, da 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 da, Sam, you know. He just said, okay, think about it. When does your knee start to hurt? After I'd had the arthroscopy, it was still hurting. And I said, well, it's actually when I'm sitting for more, you know, when I'm actually been sitting for a while. And he said, okay. And so then he kind of coached me into trying small bits of exercise. And then one thing he said was, park your car when you come home from work, park your car, don't go into your house straight away, walk around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was what, you know, honestly, this guy, Ty, his name was, you know, I really feel very grateful to him because he got me back into exercising, and I hadn't exercised properly for many, many years. You know,
Yeah.
I was
mean,
always kind of like relatively slim and relatively kind of,
yeah.
I've got high energy, you know me. But,
Yeah.
and people say, oh yeah, you know, you don't need to exercise. But actually, I did need to exercise. I
Yeah.
needed to exercise to keep myself fit. And so then my
Yeah.
walking journey started from there.
But I think it's as well, everyone needs to exercise. You know, it's not like you know, some people, oh, you don't need to exercise because you already look like
Whatever,
you. It's like, no, but you're not exercising to look good, really. You're exercising to feel
good. Yep, absolutely.
Exactly. So Brigitte is gonna maybe start walking after she parks the car, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think it just changes your mindset. I think that's what it is. It, you know, just being outside in the fresh air. I mean, like I went on a bike ride today, and I wasn't in particularly bad mood or anything, but I just felt so much better when I got back. It wasn't that I was bad before, I just was better when I was back, you know. And I mean, yeah, I probably alternate bike and walking every day, because like bike, obviously you can go a bit further, and it's, you know, I really like cycling. So I mean,
that was one of the things I did get after my knee operation. My husband bought me a bike. I had no idea he was going to buy me a bike, and there was this enormous. It was that Christmas, and I was like, oh my god, what is that?
Like, what
is that? And it was one of these lovely old Dutch upright bicycles. But I'm see, this is fear. So when I was really young, I didn't, you know, we didn't have heating, we didn't have central, you know, like double glazing. We were really quite poor. In fact, it was hard. It was quite challenging. So we didn't have our own bikes. So we used to just borrow anybody else's bike down the street. I didn't have my bike, and so my neighbour's bike was, God, I'm really going to show my age now. I think it was called not a chopper, it was a chipper. So it was the one side down from a chopper. And then I also learned to ride the chopper as well. But I remember borrowing their bikes all the time to learn to ride. But because I didn't have my own bike, and I always have to kind of wait for permission, you know, I was one of those kids who said, oh, can I ride your bike? Can I ride your bike? You know, I was there. So, can I ride your bike? You finished now. And I'd get on their bike and ride their bike. And then they'll pull me off it and say, come on, that's it. You know, you've been on my bike long enough. I then didn't have a bike that I carried on riding all the way through my sort of late teens or early sort of adulthood. So when he got me this bike, I was like, oh my God, I can't get back on a bike. And it was, again, friends of ours who got me on a bike on a beach It was on a
Right.
wet, sandy beach, and they helped me kind of get over that fear of riding the bike on a wet, sandy beach. And it was exhilarating because, like, well, you know, when you ride a bike, once you've learned, you
Yeah.
just need to get back on the bike and ride it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So that was great.
amazing.
So the bike where I live, there's a lot of hills.
Same. Oh,
It
they're
has
everywhere.
it has had a little bit of time underneath the tarpaulins, and maybe it needs to come out.
It
It needs to,
definitely needs to come out.
it needs to come
100%.
out. It needs a little
Definitely.
bit of TLC, a little bit of looking off. I need to take it down to the bike shop.
Yeah, do it. Well, yeah, definitely get it serviced.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
think
use
it's
my bike.
service.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I didn't use my bike for probably about 3 years, and because I was living in different countries and I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Like, I did not take my bike with me. That would have been weird. But yeah, so I got back and I was, oh, you know, better, you know, pick back up again, and got it serviced. And they're like, how old is this bike? I'm like, shh, it's fine. Just fix it for me. But the wheel's wonky. So like when it's like so wonky that it's wonky enough that it won't be ever straight, but it's not so wonky that they could, well, they could replace it, I guess, but I'm a cheapskate, so no. I will just ride, and every rotation, the wheel like grinds past the brake on one side. It's fine. Like, doesn't matter what you do, you just have to ride hard. Just ride hard all the time. Because yeah, it's just wonky. So, but it's fine. I mean,
I think when the bike shops are open, I don't actually know whether the bike shops are closed at the moment.
I think
but
some are.
I think I need to take it in.
Some are open.
Yeah.
So
but even if I was on my bike, I would still need to be dressed for the weather. So walking, riding the bike, you know, is actually being dressed for the weather, because I think that whole thing about having cold feet, if you have the right clothes, then you can be out in any weather. Now, it's easy I think that's a bit easy for me to say that, and it possibly is. Sometimes I feel when I'm writing stuff like that up on Instagram, you know, I have to stop myself and think, okay, but that's because you have some of the funds to get yourself a waterproof jacket, to make sure you got some waterproof boots, and to make sure you got some decent socks, but not everybody has that. So exactly. Even if you can't get out in the wet weather because you don't want to spend like the next, because that might be the only coat you have, or the only pair of shoes you have, right?
And if it takes so long to dry, then you know,
then get out in the sunshine and in the dry weather, because walking is absolutely such an easy exercise.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I mean, I even say to my clients, I always tell them to walk. That, you know, they'll do exercise as well, and that I prescribe them, but I just say to them, look, just walk. Even if you're not doing it for weight loss, do it for your mental health, because even just 20 minutes a day, you will you will experience so much kind of refreshing soul, and just everything just gets better, you know. Like, you don't ever really go for a walk and regret it, you know. Like that, it just doesn't happen. You go for a walk and you're like, oh, that was so good, I wish I'd gone for longer.
Maybe if you leave your door key and you've forgotten your door key, that might,
but you wouldn't regret the walk, you'd regret your stupidity.
Oh yeah, regret. Yes, that's true.
I always like to, you know, really think about what you regret. Really think about what you're, you know, punishing yourself for here. Are you punishing yourself for going for a walk, or are you punishing yourself for being stupid?
Yes, and leaving your key, or leaving the key in the door.
We've all done it though, to be fair. Like, I've definitely done it. But I would also be the first person to punish myself. So
then there's also, if it's nice weather, you can just sit on your step and wait for somebody to come rescue you or bring you back.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's very true. I think we're pretty lucky here, because there's a lot of people, like, you know, people around all the time, you know. So if that ever happened, you'd probably just go to someone's house, and like, so maybe not at the moment, but most of the time.
Have you noticed more people walking since the beginning of March? Because I definitely have, and it really makes me really happy, actually.
Yeah, same.
See the amount of people that are out, and the range of ages as well. I think that's what has also made me feel kind of like, it's really made me feel quite sort of hopeful about people's health and well-being. You know, single people on their own, older people, people with dogs, family groups, on a Sunday and a Saturday near me here. I mean, it is just chock-a-block with people walking, and I love it. I love to see
Amazing.
people walking.
Yeah, I love seeing kids out. I feel a lot these days. There's so many kids just sit in front of a computer or sit in front of the TV or whatever. So whenever I see kids like running around, I'm just like, yes, that's so good. Just like outside is such a good game. It's just like, I don't know. Like I guess when I say we, I'm assuming you as well, didn't have like all that stuff when you were growing up, and you had outside to play with.
We had outside.
Outside is so much fun, and I think that like these days, especially because of all like, I guess, a lot of safety concerns and stuff, outside is not the game it once was. I definitely grew up with outside to play with, and I loved it. Outside was the best game ever. And it is sad that kids now don't get to play that game. It's really sad.
And that most down to my background. I shan't even introduce myself, so I'm Sam.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like halfway through. Sorry. Hey, this is Sam. I kind of did introduce you at the beginning, so don't worry too much.
So in my previous career, before I became a coach and a leadership coach, and I'm a leadership energy coach. I was always a leadership energy coach because I was a teacher and a head teacher for many years.
Yeah.
And it's all about kind of harnessing and utilizing energy with people. But I know that I got that energy from when I was playing out on the street with my friends and with my siblings. And just lying on the grass and just closely observing ant nests or, terrible things with ant nests as well. I'm really sorry. I'm going to apologize to all the ants.
Sorry, ants.
But, and that is not funny. And if you're watching this and you're a child, do not do that, because that's really bad. Watch the ants.
I don't think we have many children listeners or watchers, so we should be okay.
It's a public health warning. But that whole kind of like being out helped me really learn to live with the seasons and recognize and love seasonal change. And that's what I'm absolutely kind of promoting as much as I possibly can with my clients, is thinking about seasonal change. Because there's lots of people who say, oh God, summer's gone and it's dark and it's this, but actually there's so much beauty in every single season that we go through, and this autumn has been absolutely glorious because we had this amazing.
I was out cycling today and it was absolutely just glorious. I was like, oh, I'm so lucky.
I mean, the colours are just mind-blowing. The yellow.
It's November already and it's still so beautiful. Wow.
Well, still autumn in my book. September, October, November is autumn.
Yeah,
so we don't go into winter until December, and then that's
I agree. I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, some people who are kind of like, once we hit October, they say, oh, winter's here, and we go, no.
Let's enjoy autumn. It's funny because I remember, so I used to teach in Thailand. I used to teach like small people, under 6 years old, and it was a Thai international school, which meant, and it was run by an English person. So it meant that a lot of I made up the curriculum. So it was like under sixes. So it's, I mean, you can, there's various degrees of things you can teach them. That we had various kind of languages. Every kid spoke like at least 3 languages, and they weren't all the same 3. It was like completely sporadic. So there was a lot of fun with that, but it was also like made it a little bit more difficult. We did one lesson which was on seasons, and the head teacher was like, yeah, just teach them about seasons. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And like, right, snow. They're all like, what's snow? And I'm like, oh my God, you've never experienced snow because you live in Thailand and you've grown up in Thailand. And I was mid-20s, and I suddenly realized that not everyone has seasons. I mean, they have seasons. In Thailand, it's wet and hot. That's the seasons. You've got wet season, you've got hot season. That's it. You know, and they're going to me like, what do you mean autumn? What's autumn? What's winter? We don't have that here. And I'm like, they're 6 and they're telling me they don't know what snow is. And I hadn't even worked that out for myself. And I'm thinking, I'm such an idiot. Like, how did I not?
No, it's
like,
not. No, it's just because we live in our own reality, in our own.
Yeah,
and we
completely.
have our own view of the world, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they shook you up a little bit, which is good.
Yeah, it's great. But it really made me, and I still remember that, you know, now this is what, 8 years ago, something like that, 8-9 years ago. And I still think about it now, just like every time the season changes, I always think of that moment of just like, oh man, we're so lucky to have seasons. You know,
and that will then kind of like that, but that memory is a great memory because it reminds you to be grateful for what you have got right now.
Definitely.
So we, you know, in this particular part of the Northern Hemisphere, we are lucky that we have 4 seasons. You know, and actually being able to sort of like see that seasonal change it kind of tracks our sort of life as well, and it tracks passing of time. But it doesn't have to be melancholy. It can be something that's actually to be joyful and to be enjoyed and rejoice. You know, you can rejoice in it as well. Yeah, because I do think that's something that I think people miss or have missed. Again, now this year, I mean, COVID-19 is a bugger, you know, and pandemic. Who the hell wants a pandemic? And there's been millions of people who've died, and you know, my heart goes out to all those families who've lost people.
Definitely.
But some of the positives have been that we are slowing down. There is a kind of a recognition, I think, for individuals that they've got to take care of their own well-being. Yeah. And I think if that's the message that's come out of this year, that's the message that COVID has given us, is that we look after ourselves. Nobody else looks after us. I mean, okay, it's the welfare state and, you know, the health service, but fundamentally,
really, like on a day-to-day kind of,
absolutely,
you know,
of what's going to happen to us.
Yeah. I mean, I think people have become a lot more health conscious. Well, okay, not everyone, but a significant amount of people have become more health conscious, or they maybe haven't made the action yet. Maybe they haven't actually taken action, but they've at least made some realizations, and they've gone, you know what, I actually don't want to continue my life like this. I want to change. I want to evolve. I want to adapt. And that's very refreshing. You know, and I've seen a lot of people changing just like their business and even their home life, like even things like getting a divorce. You know what? Fair play. Getting a divorce because you realize that you have nothing in common with your partner. Great. I'm all for it. Like, you know what? If you're not happy, change it. Always. Like, it's kind of, it's a big statement. You know, it's a big thing to say, but it's true. If you're not happy, you need to change something, you know?
Or do something to try and resolve that. So if you
change something. It doesn't have to. You don't have to get a divorce. I'm not like advocating.
Is in a tricky place. Then
go. You can work through it. But you can work through it. But if you work through it and you decide that actually it's not gonna work, then I don't think there's any shame in saying. Actually, I think actually it's extremely brave to just go. You know what? This isn't working for us anymore. Like neither of us are happy. Let's do something that enables us to both be happy without each other, you know.
I mean, you know, it's about learning to. You know, I know that they took the Mickey so tremendously out of is it unconscious uncoupling of Gwyneth.
Oh God, yeah.
But actually, to be able to part, is as in a good way. Yeah,
it's a healthy. It's like just a healthy breakup.
Way so that people get on and live their lives and they're happy. That's fantastic, because then everybody wins. If they've got kids, the kids win. Their extended families win. You know, they win, because all that kind of bitter and sort of bitterness and angst is kind of parked a bit. But I'm not a relationship expert. I'm a
no, not at all. No, me neither. I mean, if you have any idea about my relationship history, you would agree. But
people have used this year to kind of take stock.
Whatever the change is. Like, you know, I mean, we're both part of Athena, which is a women's networking group, which Brigitte, if you're still listening, is also part of. And there's been some, like we were talking about this morning, actually, we had our monthly meeting this morning, and we were talking about the amount of people that have just gone, okay, COVID's here, can't do what I did do, I'm going to do something different. And it's like, you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. You've just seen a problem. You've gone, nope, can't do that anymore. I'm going to do this instead. And you just adapt and you just get on with it and just go for it. And it's like, you're amazing. Just so amazing. Just, I have so much respect for.
I think my kind of experience is that many of those people have probably thought about doing this.
Probably, yeah.
This is the kind of trigger. It's a trigger to say, okay, now is the time to go, because it's far and few, I think, who just suddenly just turn on a, I use a phrase, I'm using a phrase at the moment in one of my letters that I'm writing, is it pivot on a pinhead, that can just do that, that you just quickly just turn. But they probably have had those thoughts for a period of time. And there's been that dissatisfaction that's been growing. And then this has been the opportunity for making that change. And I'm going to take back to walking, because walking absolutely helps you work through problems. It helps you focus, like refocus on things, just staring at a computer screen all day, having meeting after meeting after meeting. You just need to clear your head. Just need to get out and just breathe and go and not think about work for a second, not think about anything, just be in the nature that you're lucky enough to be in, or not nature, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter where you're walking. Like I would just say it doesn't matter where you're walking, as long as you're not walking on a treadmill, because don't even get me started on that. Well, I had a really amazing walk yesterday along the canal. So if you if you're living in London, if you live, I went to Angel and then just walked along the canal out to Victoria Park, and that is such an amazing walk. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And then again, the number of people who are walking and cycling along that towpath.
It's amazing. It's really inspiring, actually. And I love that Brigitte is going on a walk after this. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. But obviously be safe, because it's dark, and read my last post, because I did talk about night walking safety. Just saying.
I think it's really wise to be safe, because sadly still, many more women, and the men as well, but many more women are find it a challenge to go out. And I think, all those things you said, keeping in a well-lit place, it's a challenge, going through parks. There aren't any, many of them don't have lights.
It is.
Dark at the night. I wouldn't want to walk in the day. It's fine.
I would be really scared to walk on my own at night, even though I know I can take care of myself. But it's kind of, I guess, like, why, like, for me, if I walk anywhere, I have to walk in the forest. There is nowhere else to walk. So in the forest at night on my own, no. I'll walk with someone. That's not a problem. Like, me and my mum have gone out for like night walks. I put my head torch on because I think it looks really cool. In fact, I know it looks really cool. But
and if you go with somebody else, it's different. It's
fine. Exactly. If you go with someone, it's fine, and you can just put a head torch on, and it's no props. But I do think that safety is kind of overlooked a little bit, especially at the moment when there's so much going on with like COVID and stuff. That's really all anyone's focusing on. And the chance of somebody attacking somebody in the forest are very, very, very slim, but there's still a chance, because they're still humans. And you never really know what, somebody could have just had a really bad day and be just wanting to take out on the next person they saw, and you can't know that you're going to be the next person. You just have no idea. So
there's definitely that whole case safe from strangers and people who are just having who are living their, wanting to just follow their own desires and their own needs at the time. But then there's also the just practical things like tree roots and slipping in a pond, or it's practical stuff, about keeping yourself safe. because the aim of walking is to boost your health. So
not to make it worse.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I would really recommend any of the watchers here is about thinking about the time of the day that you walk. And if you're a working from home person who's like stuck in front of a computer and you're there from say 9 o'clock or even earlier till 6 o'clock, by the time when you finish work it is dark, and so you're thinking I don't really want to walk then. So if you could try and get up and walk first thing in the morning, that is a really great time to walk. One, because there's some light then. And alternatively, at lunchtime, get some walking time in at lunchtime.
And also, if
making
you
sure
get
that
up,
you take a lunch time.
yeah, well, as well, that if you get up earlier than you plan to, like say normally you get up at 7, you get up at 6:30, and you go for a 20-minute walk, you feel virtuous for the whole day, and it's like the best feeling ever. Like I went on a walk before I did anything today. Like I am actually amazing. And if you go on a walk at lunchtime,
you can tick it off.
then
my exercise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just done. You don't even need to think about it. If you go on a walk at lunchtime, then you've got the benefit of escaping the office, escaping. I like my sleep too much. Yeah, okay, me too.
Okay, but lunchtime walks are good.
But lunchtime walks are very good.
And the other thing I'd recommend is for people to walk. I would really recommend people to walk just before the light goes. So now the light's beginning to go around 4:30 now. So if you can get out for about a 5 or 10 minute walk just before the light goes, what you'll get is an extra boost to get you through your last 2 hours of your working day. If you just say you finish at 6 o'clock, but that little walk, and that genuinely could be just around the block, around your estate, wherever it is, just getting on your shoes, just taking a quick walk, a brisk walk, that bit of time will see you through the next couple of hours. And it also it's setting your circadian rhythm. So when you get up in the morning and you get some light, open your curtains, get as much light as you possibly can, get out on your walk, you're starting to regulate your body clock, your natural body clock. And when you do that late afternoon walk, what you're doing is you're saying to your brain, okay, so it's getting towards the end of the day, but I do have a bit more work to do, and then you can start to wind down. So you start to live naturally with the light that you've got, and if you can do that, I think you just genuinely will feel much well, definitely, and you'll feel that you'll feel that you're using your time really well during the day as well.
Yeah, you feel like more productive. Yeah, like your whole day just feels more and more productive. Like the more kind of little things like, getting outside just makes you feel more like, oh, I'm actually achieving something. I'm actually enjoying being outside and I'm even enjoying being inside because I've been outside, and I know for example, for someone like Brigitte, who is kindly writing a lot in response, which I really appreciate, by the way, spending a lot of time editing in front of a screen. So it's going to be all the time editing, the screen is there, or it has to be, because that's your job. I'm sort of fully aware that a photographer's job is mostly editing, and I love it, Brigitte. Please carry on. I absolutely so appreciate it. I really do. But it's spending that much time in front of a screen, it just wrecks your eyes, and being outside, it makes you just kind of takes another perspective, and you can just kind of relax your eyes a little bit. You don't have to focus, you don't have to just kind of be in the and your posture's better. And posture is so much when it comes to confidence, which we could probably talk for about an hour about, probably more actually, but yeah, like when you're in front of the computer, you naturally kind of hunch over, and then when you're outside walking, it's just it's the posture is, and it makes you feel better about yourself, with nothing else changing, just your posture. That's it. And it's just going for a walk, and your posture will just naturally change. And it's Oh, it's the best feeling. I love it. But let's talk
Helen,
a bit
I wonder
about,
if you could talk.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, I think we're
cold
slightly
feet and not wanting
overlapping.
to do something.
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly what I want to
Sorry.
talk about. No, that's exactly what I was going to say. So I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike, apparently.
Yes. Absolutely. So yeah, the
Yeah,
cold feet in terms of not wanting to do things. So as you know, you said at the beginning of the talk, I had a bit of cold feet, like, oh my God, I've got to do an install. I don't think I've done that before. How do I do that? And we had to have a little practice session. So that helped me get over my cold
yeah,
feet. There was a little bit of a staging process. I'm just testing this out. I want to just get some support. Who can I get some support from? Helen's going to be able to get some support, give me support, because she's done this before. So I got over that my kind of cold feet by just working through all of that. Now, many of people that we know will get stuck in I can't do that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the cold feet, like I said at the beginning, hold
Definitely.
them like blocks of ice,
Definitely.
stuck.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
So
what's happened with you and some of your, I know, with some of the people you've worked with, say on improving their fitness? How do you get them out of that cold feet? I can't do this.
well, it's actually a very interesting question. I tend to work with people who have already decided that they want to get fit.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't feel like that in itself, getting them to exercise is not like they most of the people that work with me, they already know that they need to exercise. They know that they actually want to exercise. They want to learn a new skill. They want to learn how to defend themselves. They want to, they want to better themselves.
Yeah.
But there are many people that I've worked with and met and maybe not worked with that have been, I want to do this, but I'm too scared. I want to do this, but I don't feel like I'm good enough. I want to do this, but, maybe in a year's time or whatever, which I understand, but I don't agree with. Because for me, I'm like, like dramatically, you could die tomorrow, but if you're going to die with regret, that's a waste.
Okay, I'm going to come in there and say you won't have that emotion of regret because you'll be dead. So
no, true. No. I agree. Okay. Then So I morbidly was talking about this yesterday about dying.
Yeah.
So I said, like, I'm not scared of dying because I don't have any regrets. What I'm scared of is being like completely incapacitated and not being able to live, but still being alive. So that's what. So, but as you're dying, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but like if you're like dying, you would be thinking your life flashes before your eyes. I'm assuming it hasn't happened yet.
Well, we just have to assume that happens. Yeah.
But in that moment, would you be like, oh my God, I wish I'd done this. I wish I hadn't just like been such a chicken about stuff. Like, I wish I'd just gone for stuff. Or would you be like, oh my God, I'm so glad with everything I've done.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I've made some really sketchy decisions in my life, but I'm glad that I made them all.
Yeah.
Because I learned something from each one.
Absolutely.
And I've made some really questionable decisions, but I don't regret a single one.
But you're sitting here now having a good chat with me and knowing that you made those, that you have learned from them because you know what you would do if similar things came up again.
Oh, I'd probably make the same mistakes again, but
no, Helen, I'm going to challenge you because I don't think you would. I think you've got
some of them I would. The last big stupid thing that I did was breaking my ankle, which was in July.
Right.
So I maintained. So basically, what happened was I was climbing. I went for a dyno. I missed. I fell. I broke my ankle. Essentially, that's what happened. And I got down, and then no. But it wasn't like I didn't mean to break my ankle. I thought I was gonna catch the hold, and I didn't. I missed. So, but what I mean is, I would still jump for it again, even if that was a consequence, the potential consequence, I would still do it, because I still, like, I would feel worse if I didn't do it.
So you were just pushing yourself.
I was pushing myself, and I would do the same thing 100%. Like, if it was tomorrow, I still have like a not 100% ankle, so it's like 80%, but I would still do it tomorrow, because I would regret it so much more if I didn't, you know. Just like that, to me, okay, that's quite a bold move, but I would still do it, because that's the way I work. Just do it. You don't know what you're going to regret, you know, like, you just don't know.
So
you might never have a decision.
You're kind of like one extreme, and I'd say
yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm right at the other side of the spectrum, but I'm more of a planner. So yes, I will do things, and there's definitely things I'll say, yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that now, and I'll be quite bold in my decisions. But then there are other times when I will do so with the cold feet bit, I'll think, okay, I know I don't want to do this, and I want to do that, but I need to get myself from here to there, and that's when I'll plan. And that's
okay.
that.
Yeah, that's very just mature. I don't have that yet.
I think it's mature. I think it's, and I think that's just, it's my sort of like keeping myself in a place where I'm not going to get cold feet. So I still want to be able to progress and move forward, but I want to do it in a way that I feel safe and it's good, and I know that I'm pushing myself. So I'm pushing myself and staying safe. And that sounds a bit strange, but
no,
I know
it doesn't. It makes
that
sense.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But there is always the drive to keep moving forwards and keep learning and keep be looking through different avenues. So that sort of curiosity and the courage that, I mean, my values are curiosity, things I live by: curiosity, courage, being creative, working with your community, and embracing change. Those are my 5 things that are like I live my life by. So if for me, curiosity will keep pushing me forward, and I'm using everything I've learned in my past to keep me going forward. But I do plan things, and I think that's where I will help people who are working with me, who say, Sam, I want to do this, but I don't know how to get from here to here. And that's then while I'll say, okay, let's think about this that you've done, or
help
that.
them break it into baby steps.
It's like kind of bringing in all this stuff, and then they'll have in front of them this huge toolbox that they've forgotten they had. The rusty old toolbox in the shed, and they're going, oh my God, I've forgotten I have all of this. I can do that. So it just takes them forward. So you need to kind of, for some people, they just need reminding, and people like you, people like me, can help them, remind them what they can do, what they have done. They can get there. Yeah. I
mean, I find a lot of my clients like former fit, so they used to be fit, or they used to be really healthy, and then something happened. So either work took over, they had kids, or they met a partner and they got lazy, or it doesn't matter what, like plenty of reasons.
It's called life. Life gets in the way.
Yeah, life gets in the way. Like, that's okay. But especially at the moment, there's been quite a lot of people that have sort of realized this and then gone, actually, I actually really want to do something about this. I don't want to be like this forever. I think I remember that I used to be really fit, or I used to be able to run a 6-minute mile, or it doesn't really matter. Running's not really my area of expertise, but just an example. And I find a lot of people come to me with that kind of, oh, I miss what I used to be. And actually, that's really nice, because I know that they really want it, and I know that they know it's possible. Because if you've been in a place, you can go back to that place, but you're going back to that place with more knowledge and more expertise and more, more of everything good, and the same kind of fitness and whatever you had that you want, you can get it again. Like, that's always possible. So that
it must be kind of a challenge for you as well to somehow manage some of the expectations that some of those people who've like had a particularly big gap. They may have been doing this when they're 20 and now they're in their 40s. They may not get the same level of physical fitness. So it's just adjusting the spectacle, just adjusting it slightly. So you will be fit, but you've got to kind of let your brain catch up with actually you are the body of a 40-year-old rather than the
Yeah.
body of a 20-year-old.
Like you'll still look good, but you might not get a six pack straight away.
Yeah.
Like that's
or you might
pretty
not be
easy
able
when you're
to
20.
run, but you'll be able
Yeah.
to, you know, bench press whatever. You know, there's
Yeah, and
different
and
things
it's nice
to do.
that people's priorities change, and you know they kind of go, well, oh, I want to lose weight. Oh, actually, you know what? Being strong is really important. I actually prefer to be strong than lose weight. And then they kind of, I actually have a client at the moment who originally came to me to lose weight, and then he started doing some weights and was like, I really enjoy this. This is amazing. And I was like, well, then keep doing it. That's incredible that you enjoy it, you know. And he hadn't exercised for 20 odd years, you know.
Right.
And he suddenly like, and if he like doesn't miss a day. He exercises 5 days a week and he does it every week, and that's what he does now. And it's like, that's only taken him 3 months to get that routine. That's not a long time in the grand scheme of things, you know. And that, I mean, I think that's really impressive. And you know, he's obviously got a much more positive outlook on life as well, which has, you know, really helped him. And it's sort of like the more he's exercised, the more positive he's got as well, which is just nice to watch, you know. It's really good. I love that.
When you have that cold feet and you've got that fear of doing things, my advice, if anybody who's watching this, is talk it out with somebody. You know, if you can't, you know, if you don't want to find a professional coach to work with, go and talk it out with maybe not your closest friends, maybe somebody who's a little bit more distant. Just say, you know, just speak and say, look, I just want to just sit down and just talk this through, and ask them to ask you some questions, you know, and questions like the who, what, why, when, why, you know, not why so much, but who, what, where, when, how, you know, and explore of what it is that you really want to do. And I think if that person is somebody who's quite a good listener, you will then be able to almost warm your own feet up, because you'll start to take a few kind of like a little leaps in your brain about, okay, I did do that and I could do that, and you'll start to get yourself a little plan together. And the other thing I would absolutely advise people to do when they've got that kind of desire to do something but they're stuck is get I'm going to pull this off my wall now, is get it up on a piece of paper and like visualize it in some way. So I've got these things above my table. For this one, I've got another one behind this one. This one was made up, it's like a visualization thing. Can you see?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Okay, so this one I actually put up on Instagram, but this was made up of my 17-year-old son's old birthday cards, which I found in a big pile. Like, you know, you find piles.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So, and I had bought him some really kind of like naff birthday card. We got naff birthday cards this year. So he used to be a real Cars fanatic. So Lightning McQueen's there, and there was the Marvel Avengers, and there was this lovely cat. Cool. I don't know who gave him that cat one, but it's really cool. Can you see? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm in the middle of COVID. I've got to think about how I'm pivoting my business, how I want to move forward. And so I put up things that I know about myself, my values, and then I gave myself a couple of little sayings. So keep a team around you, because that's really important for me.
Important.
The stars are yours if you want it, absolutely. So it's up to me. Smash away the distractions, because Hulk is there to help me smash away the distractions.
Yeah. Love that.
Lightning McQueen is keep on track, don't spin off. And the Marvel superheroes is use all your strength.
Yeah.
Keep a cat laser focus on mastering your goals. Now,
I love that.
I had that, you know, just above my desk. I'm probably going to redo it in a month or so.
That's
but
so cool.
It's a way of like saying, you can do this, warm your feet up, get yourself going, but use your own kind of little slogans, mottos, whatever it is, family sayings, you know, the kind of things that, you know, all your family always say to you, to kind of have it in your face. And I have that up just behind, you know, where my laptop is. And so it's there. And I look up and I see it, and I'm subconsciously just taking in those messages all the time.
Yeah, it's so important to have you know, kind of a message all the time. I have on my door, I'm already standing on a mountain of value.
Lovely. Yeah,
Daniel Priestley.
I know.
Yeah, I wrote it down, and I just stuck it on my door. And everywhere I've lived, I've taken it and I've stuck it on the next door. So I've moved house like 4 times, and it's the same piece of paper from the first house. I just keep re-sticking it to the door. So
those are so important, aren't they?
So
because
important.
They keep you going.
So
and so that kind of like being stuck in cold feet, literally, you want to get yourself a decent pair of socks. Cold feet, if you're cold feet thinking about wanting to move forward, people using your own strengths, reminding yourself of your strengths, that will really help you go forward. And then find a Helen or a Sam to hold your hand.
and anyone who's like watching or listening, feel free to like get in touch with either of us. I'll obviously tag you in the live when I put it out. It'll be like a couple of minutes after we end, which we will have to do soon, because there's an hour limit. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. They have an hour limit, and so in a second it's going to start giving me a 10-second countdown.
So it's been lovely talking to you, Helen.
It's been amazing.
So enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate
Helen,
it.
HHH, and you know what? HHH leg hearts kept me going at the beginning of COVID. Lying, honest, seriously, this woman's it was like a kind of a little mini boost. I did them quite well, actually.
I don't doubt you. Thank you so much, Brigitte. She watched the whole thing. I love it.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you. It's been really lovely. I'm going to follow you, Nux Photography, find out what you're about.
Oh, Brigitte is amazing. Do a 1-to-1 with her. She's literally like amazing. So,
Helen, so nice to talk to you. Thank you for inviting me. In fact, I think I invited myself, but thank you for having me.
Yeah, you did, but I like that you did, so it's fine. I appreciate that you did.
Okay. Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.